Pretty big news in the Mounjaro world today, and this is going to affect supply chain in a big way, and we need to talk about it. So if that kind of topic interests you, or if you live in the UK, you're going to want to stay tuned for this video. But before we get started, please hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub so you get the notifications for all the videos that we do here at On the Pen with Man on a Mounjaro. So let's get into the news. So this is big news for the supply chain. It's big news if you are living in the United Kingdom. Basically, the National Institute for Healthcare and Excellence, nice, has given its backing to Mounjaro for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. So basically those under the National Healthcare Services of the United Kingdom who have uncontrolled type 2 diabetes will be given access within the next 90 days to Mounjaro as a treatment to control their diabetes. Now, in this draft statement, one of the key things that they said is they think that up to 180,000 people could benefit from this new treatment. So, over here in the United States, across the pond, we have been watching closely, especially on this channel, we've been watching closely the supply chains, especially as it relates to a pending approval that Eli Lilly has to have Tirzepatide, the active ingredient in Mounjaro, approved for weight loss. Now, some people have claimed that they know for sure it's coming in October. Other people are saying it's going to be in January. Let's put a little context around that. So, Eli Lilly told us that they submitted Tirzepatide to the FDA for chronic weight management back at the end of May, right? And if you look at Wegovy as kind of the template, they also used a priority review voucher with the FDA, which basically just speeds up the process of getting a drug approved by the FDA, reviewed and approved by the FDA, to about 6 months. So if you look at Wegovy, it took about 180 days. We are only around about 110-ish days from the time that Tirzepatide was submitted to the FDA for its new indication. So that leaves us 2 months and change until we're to roughly the date that it took, the length of time that it took Wegovy to get approved for weight loss. Now, we've talked a lot about how Eli Lilly has done such a good job at getting adding additional manufacturing capacity to meet the demand of this blockbuster medication. But I think this news probably has a lot of us kind of stepping back and saying, we're opening in new markets, we can't serve the market that we're currently in, and you've got basically we're on the doorstep of what we all are assuming at this point will be an FDA authorization for the use of this medication in chronic weight management. So there's kind of a lot to unpack here because, we know that Eli Lilly has done a lot in the way of expanding their manufacturing capacity. We know, if you follow this channel, I believe I was the first to break the news on the vials, the single-dose vials, and then the adjustable injector pens. So we know that they're hedging against potential issues in manufacturing that could kink up the supply chain. But the question remains is, will they have the capacity to keep up with the additional indication and now the expansion of the treatment for people over in the UK with Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes? Now, this is excellent news for those who are over in the UK who struggle with type 2 diabetes. This medication, I believe that it should be available for everybody. But I do have an issue with opening up in new markets. These GLP-1 treatments, all of them, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, Saxenda, Victoza, they're all really great treatments. And they come with the titration schedule that the manufacturer recommends. But my issue is, if you're not going to be able to meet demand, you're going to have intermittent outages of the different doses, you're going to send people on this yo-yo of titrating up and titrating down. And by their own literature, that is not the ideal way to take these medications. So is it good news ultimately for people in the United Kingdom? Absolutely. I love to see people of all ways, shapes, and forms being able to have access to Mounjaro. But I do have an issue with, the big question mark over the supply chain. And I really wish that these manufacturers would get their head around the manufacturing, the capacity that they have or are going to need to meet the demand before they go opening up in additional markets, just so that everybody gets served appropriately by these medications. What are your thoughts? Please sound off in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are about this expansion of Mounjaro into other markets. Also, make sure that you hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub, and make sure you get all the notifications for all the content that we put out on this channel. I work really hard to bring you the news. If you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, share it with somebody else who will, and we'll catch you on the next one.